Hey guys, Tristan Bridges here with Genesis Gaming. I just got third place at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Extravaganza. I played Drytron. You know, it's the best deck. So before we start the video, I just want to give a couple shout outs. First shout out is to TMW, you know, the Discord, Ryan Yu, and for showing me the Dawn Knight combo, you know, insane. He showed me that after round one. And then shout out to Genesis Gaming, of course, you know, best sponsors. And, you know, shout out to Darren, Landon, and Danny for playing with me. So this is the list I ended up playing. I played like a kind of like a mid-range Drytron deck instead of like a very standard one. And you'll see in a second with some card choices why I call it like a mid-range Drytron deck. But yeah, so here we go. So first thing is I played 3 Ash Blossom. So a lot of people wondered why I chose to play this is because like I just needed something to stop my opponent from having such a strong board, and also against Eldlik, even if they set up all their like golden, like the Conquistadors and Huaqueros, if you just Ash the Elixir, they can't do anything. So like this card to me was just huge, and plus like stopping a Lulu, that's huge. You stop them from getting another name and the Kowloon, like, or a Kowloon, you know, like there's just a lot of things Ash did. And yeah, she was good all weekend, is the only hand trap besides Herald. And then for obviously my Drytron engine, I played 3 Thubin, best one, Zeta, the next best one. And then this is not really standard. I played 2 Gamma, and a lot of people only play 1 Gamma, 1 Delta. I didn't want to get Cycle Readered or DD Crowed for my Gamma and then not be able to have another one, because this card is how you play turn 2, 3, and 4 if you get into those situations. And I wanted to always just make sure I had another one searchable, not like I have to resolve Restaban first or something to put one back. So yeah, I was really happy that I played this, because this did get Cycle Readered, and then I just played an emergency to search another one, and I did like it was really good. Yeah, he helps you push for turn 2s and 3s for the big plays. And then the 1 Delta, because I play Pod of the Prosperity, and so yeah, those conflict sometimes. And then I played, for my rituals, I played something pretty standard here. I played 3 Ben 10, Natasha, and Herald. If you once you see more of my list is really made around Herald. I don't play Vanity's Ruler. I don't like Vanity's Ruler. I think there's way too many outs to that, but Herald's a lot harder to out since he can just negate anything. And you usually end with 4 or 5 negates, so yeah, they usually can't out this anyway. And so to get to that, I played 4 normal summons in my deck, which is Dawn Knight. Obviously, you don't want to draw this because you want to attach with Union Carrier, but if you do, he actually gives you an extra fairy in your hand for Herald, which is really good. Manju, if you don't normal summon, he is the best thing to normal summon. He gets you additional names, and he gives you a body. And then another not really a lot I see a lot of people doing is playing 2 Petite Angel. And a lot of people are like, well, why would you ever play 2 Petite Angel, right? And it's because I play double Eva. And with double Eva, this gives you longevity. Like you can play longer games. I also Eva, I think what I in Herald and Triple Herald. So what I did one match is that I Herald and Eva'd my opponent, and I was able to search Cyber Petite Angel, normal Petite Angel, search Ben 10, and then start my whole play. And they got rid of a hand trap, so it was really good. And at the end of the combo, I had another Eva for their turn, so that was just insane. But yeah, 2 Cyber Petite. This is like kind of like Joey Lynch's list, except instead of 3, I thought 4 normal summons was enough instead of 5. When you got to 5, it's just these ended up being too cloggy. And with Pot of Dichotomy, it makes Herald a lot better, because since I have more fairies in my deck list, I have more chances to either hit the Herald or the additional fairy I need to play through hand traps. So for example, I would start with Prosperity, and then I'd hit Herald, and then they try to drill me, and if I had like this or this, like I just negate, or even this, like I just negate it, and then I'm free to play. Like, and to me that was just insane. So yeah, and the second Eva also like I said, it gives you a really good grind game, especially against like Eldlik and like all those other kind of decks. So yep, and then I already showed that. And then for Drytron names, I played 3 Emergency, 3 Nova, and only 2 Fafnir. People wonder why I didn't play 3, and it's because this card plays into Duel. Another thing is that since you play Pot of Prosperity, you don't have to play more of these. Like, you have such a high chance to see a name turn 1 due to all of these cards, due to the names, and because of Prosperity. So, yeah. And then finally, to help me play through hand traps, Called by Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion is really good, even going second into boards. Like, I remember I Instant Fusioned, I made Millennium Eyes, and then I just tried to go off. If they tried to negate anything, I sucked it up in Millennium Eyes. So, yeah, that was just really good. And then the last card, obviously, is the Ritual Spell. In my version of the deck, this getting banished is huge, because then I'm only playing with Drytrons, and I mean, which is still fine. Like, this did get crowed this weekend, and I had to just play with Drytrons for like 2 or 3 turns, but it's fine. But yeah, only one. You only need one. For my extra deck, I played 1 Millennium Eyes because of Instant Fusion, Link Rebo, Anima. I only played this really for, people say that you need it for the Union Carrier combo. Most of the time, I don't even need that for the Union Carrier combo. I actually never did that combo once, I think in the last like 2 to 3 weeks. Like, I have never done that combo. But this is still good for when your opponent Nibiru, when you get to Nibiru your opponent and take the token to clear it. Like, that's huge. Union Carrier, you're going into this every game. Herald, really good. You could cut this, but I don't see why you would. IP, she's really good too. My Nightmare package to help clear boards. Access, Appaloosa. I didn't make her once this weekend, but you need her. She's really good. Oh, actually, I did make her. I made her and Access Code. I made Access Code and this for 4. So I lied. So yeah. But I didn't need to. I could have just swung for game. Boral Sword. I made this all weekend. If you're not playing Boral Sword, you're insane. Because I'm telling you, every turn 2, I made Boral Sword and swung for game with Herald. Because it's exactly 1,000. Yeah. Lyrilisk, and then I did Downward and Zeus. It's really important that you get 4 materials. A lot of people were playing like Funko, and the reason why I chose Lyrilisk is because it does 800 direct, right? Like, I don't have to like commit more cards, but when I play Funko, I have to detach 2, attack, and then overlay Downward, which could get punishmented or something, and like that's bad. Like a lot of time, if I played against like Eldlick or something, I would just swing for 8. And instead of going for Downward, I could go straight into the Zeus. But if I was playing against like combo or something, then I could, like, you know, it's a clearer path. But yeah, I just wanted to always have at least like 2 materials or something for the Zeus. And finally, my side deck, hand trap supports Lancia, the best hand trap of the format. Like, this card's insane. And then triple Nibiru. I didn't have Nibiru in my deck. At first, this was Cycle Reader, but I realized Drytron has lost a lot of popularity, and I understand why. Like, people think that, like, if you get Drolled or Cycle Reader, like, that's auto game, and unless you're playing against another combo deck, it's not really auto game, right? Like, it just doesn't happen quite as often as people think. And if control decks are like, haha, I'm going to draw you, it's like, okay, I'm going to see another turn, so it doesn't matter what you do. And if they Cycle Reader you, it's like, okay, yeah, you did get rid of the 2 resources, but, like, I'm going to live and play another turn, so your deck, you lose. And so I chose Nibiru because I was really scared of the Dragon Link deck. I played William Kendia, and, yeah, this card won me the game. I nibbed his whole field for everything, and then he had a normal summon a Drago and pass. So, yeah, the nib was huge. Nib was huge. It's also good against prank kids, like a lot of rogue decks. Like, yeah, like my Drytron deck was made to just blow back rogue decks and trap decks. So, yep. And then the final hand trap I played was Droll and Lockbird for the mirror match and for Virtual World. So when I play against Virtual World, I actually put all 9 of these in with 3 Ash in my main deck. And, yeah, the deck still has, like, barely any issue, like, with consistency at least. And these cards all just really help, you know, try to get them to pass their turn. So, yeah. So, my whole goal was not to try to break my opponent's board, but to prevent it. And all the 12 hand traps, 15 if you count Herald, really helped with that. So, yep. And then finally, for my last, like, 6 cards, these all kind of go together. So, Cosmics, Red Reboot, Feather Duster, and then the best one is this. So, first Cosmic. So, people are like, well, why don't you play Lightning Storm? And it's like, well, they'll change Schism, and then you kind of lose out to Winda. And I didn't want that to just keep happening to me, so I just played the 1-for-1 Cosmic for that. And then what was really cool about playing Feather Duster and Reboot is with Pot of Prosperity, I got to see 6 cards deep into my deck to try to even dig for one of these, games 2 and 3. And to me, that's huge, because if I see one of these, it's game. Just guaranteed game, like, I can blow them back. Against, well, Harpy's Feather Duster against, like, non-Shadow decks. But Reboot was definitely just game every time. Card's insane. And then the last card I played was this Drytron, Meteonis, the Quadrat, whatever. And if you don't know what he does, is that what he does is give you an out to Gozen and Rivalry, because he's also a machine. So you contribute your Drytrons to summon him out, and then he pops all spells and traps on your. I believe it's the opponent side. I mean, I never had any, so I never had to worry about it. But when I dropped him, I dropped him to out a window, and I attacked over the window, even though they had Alistair in hand. And then I popped all his back row. And then against Eldlik, I summoned him, and my opponent Conquistadored it. And I said, that's fine, because when he's destroyed, he gets to summon back 2 Drytrons from the grave. And that's huge, because it gives you more ways to grind with your opponent than usual. And that's kind of what my deck is like based around, is trying to grind as long as you can until your opponent is either out of resources, or you just lock them out of the game, or you create abundant of resources. And yeah, and that's my deck. Thank you everyone for, watching my deck profile, and hopefully I'll see you guys at the invitational qualifier. Thank you guys so much.